Right guys, so this is a long video. I do one of these about every year. If you don't want to watch a long video that's got all the setup and putting the windsock out and all that kind of stuff, I've got sort of all of that, then I've got the flight, and then I've got some tips and stuff at the end. If you want to go straight to the flight, just have a look at the description below. You'll find links that will take you straight to takeoff, straight to flying above the clouds, straight to switching my engine off and just gliding down through the clouds, or straight to the landing, or the top tips at the end. If you want to watch the whole thing, great, here we go. So this is my 13th year of paramotoring, and I think my 19th year of paragliding. Certainly don't claim to be an expert, but I must have picked up some tips by now. So about this time every year I've been doing a kind of set up and fly with some tips videos. So this is 2019's. So it's a nice day today. It's last day in April. Very little wind. Should be coming out of the south east there, but you know, of course no wind's great for flying once you're up, but it can be a bit difficult taking off because the wind doesn't seem to settle. So it's important to get your windsock up. The first thing you do, get your windsock up, and then while you're all setting up and doing everything else, you can have one eye on your windsock and you're just keeping an eye on it. You know, is the wind staying the same direction? Is it changing in intensity? How much is it moving around? Gives you a whole idea of what the weather's doing, and saves you faffing about when you're actually setting up and finding that, you know, the wind changes direction just after you set up because you're expecting it, you know. So this is this field we're in here now. This is north, south. I think the wind should be coming from around about there-ish. So we're going to be taking off from up here and then flying down. So I don't want the windsock right in front of me, but I want to be able to see it when I'm setting up. So actually probably about kind of here is pretty good. I want it in front of me enough so that when I'm setting up and I'm pulling up, I can still see it. So my windsock, standard windsock, get yourself a good windsock. You want it nice and high. And the other thing about it you want to do is you want to get a little bit of a streamer that you can put low down. That's really important. It tells you if the wind's different right at the ground, and it also tells you, it's also good if there isn't a whole lot of wind, to just give you a little bit of an indication at a low level what it's doing. Now you can see it right away now. You can see that the wind is not coming from the southeast, is it? Not in the slightest. It's actually coming from the northeast. So that's completely changing where I have to set up from. It's reasonably gusty as well, so I need to set up in a completely different place. We've had to set the windsock off in a different place, and you can see according to the windsock, the wind's actually coming from the northeast. Now the forecast is southeast all day. So what we can tell from that is the forecast isn't wrong, you know. I mean, it's not even a forecast, it was telling us it was southeast all day. So that's really not a true indication of wind, but it is here. So we're going to be taking off this way, but then we know that once we get to a level, it's going to be coming back round to the east again. So we need to bear that in mind. And what that also is going to mean is that we're going to expect to see this move quite a lot, right? Because it's not the actual wind direction. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that move all the way around to I think it already has actually moved all the way around to the north. I wouldn't be surprised to see it moving all around, way around to the east and all the way back down to southeast again. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that and just see what it does, because it's a bit funky at the moment. So this is my air conception. I've had this for 2 years now. Got it about this time 2 years ago. And it has without doubt been the best paramotor I've ever owned, really. And I've had about 6 of them. This is my 6th one in 12 years. Lots of power, but still quite efficient. I had a 2-hour flight last week, and I did 6 litres for 2 hours, so about 3 litres an hour. And you know, if you're well in it, if you get up and down all the time, that can go up to 5, even 6 litres. But in normal use, it's nothing like that. It's only about it's only about 3.5, which is still more than my 4-stroke Bailey was. That would do 2.5 litres, and so would the top 80 that I had before that, was about 2.5 litres. But of course, you've got so much more power with the air conception, and I love the power. I love not having to run like buggery anymore to take off if there's no wind, like a day like today. I love the fact that I'm not thinking all the time about oh, I'd quite like to go down low and see something, but if I do, then I have to climb all the way back up, and that's going to take ages. I don't need to worry about that anymore, I just do it. So so that's a good thing. And of course, you used to pay for that, you know, you used to pay for that in heaviness and in efficiency and fuel use, but you don't really anymore. So even for a beginner, I think this is a good motor. It's not ridiculously powerful, it's just decent. So, top tips for beginners. Absolutely number one is, if you're getting a paramotor, get the lightest one you can afford. Do not listen to people that say otherwise. I mean, really, you want the lightest paramotor you can get. It makes everything easier. It's not about how strong you are, right? It's about inertia, momentum. It's about having something on your back, which is always going to be an awkward big thing, and it'd be a hell of a lot less awkward when it doesn't weigh so much. Now this weighs about 20 kilos, 21 kilos or so, and the difference between something like this and something like a big old 30 kilo machine, it's night and day. It'll make your day and your flying and your ground handling and your failed attempts at takeoff, because you will have them, much less annoying and much more pleasurable overall. You'll have far less screwed up takeoffs, because you'll be able to make those little adjustments, because you won't be tired and you won't be knackered, and you'll be able to make those adjustments in a way that you just won't be able to. It's a big heavy machine. Just tightening this cage straps here, and then I have these little ones I put at the bottom here. One thing I just don't like about the air conception at the bottom of the cage here, it just leaves a big gap, and this is your throttle hand, and you can imagine you really don't want your hand going through there. So I basically just have a little couple of straps here, and it just closes this off a little bit. It just means there's less chance of my paw going through it and getting minced into little bits. Finally, you get these little straps, they just keep the thing together. They're not structural particularly, but stops things getting, oops, that's not good. That's what happens when you see I forgot to lock that top one. It's because I'm trying to talk and do things at the same time. Here's another good tip. If you're a beginner, focus on one thing. It's a bit like being on the phone to somebody when you're driving, whether it's hands-free or not, right? It takes up your concentration. It's the same if you're talking to somebody when you're setting up. You're going to have enough things in your mind trying to set up your paramotor and remember all your checklists and everything without trying to have a conversation with somebody. And you know, so if somebody comes up to you and they want to have a chat with you and they're just asking if they can help or maybe that kind of thing, don't be afraid to just say, look, back off, thanks very much, but I just need to concentrate, I just need to do things, and just let me be. It was probably 6 or 7 years into flying before I was really comfortable speaking to anyone while I was in the kind of setup and phase at all. I would just, you know, it's so easy to just forget something. You know, you're talking to somebody, you clip something in the wrong way around, or you pick up the brake the wrong way around and now it's round some other line. It's so easy to do. Focus on it, one thing, focus on your setup, forget about anyone else. Okay, so that's it, it's together, cage is all done, I've connected the power, this is still switched off, cage is all together. What we do now is, not to warm the thing up, because little engines like this, you warm them up, they'll be cold 2 minutes later, so that's not really worthwhile. But what is worthwhile is just checking that it starts, right? Just checking that it starts okay, and then you know it will start all right when you need it to. So this has got a manual push on the carb diaphragm, and then we just and what I was doing there is I was just pushing the fuel up till I can see it going into the carburetor, and then about 2 seconds after that, and then I let go. So now we're ready to start and just check that everything's okay. So at this point, all I'm going to do is check that I've not got anything that's going to get sucked into the prop. So here we've got all my cage stuff up, we've got the line for the speed bar tucked behind here, so that's all right. Everything else is fine. So we're just going to check to see if it starts all right. And if it does, then we stop it. Okay, so now what we've done is we forgot to switch it on, and the switch here, rightly or wrongly, is in a position that you can't actually get to without taking it off. It's probably a good thing, but if it got knocked off in flight for some reason, you would be stuffed. So we're on now. Okay, so just a quick start. It started okay. I'm wondering if I've actually been quite a few flights with this without charging the battery, and the battery sounded like it's maybe need to swap the battery out. Let me just see if it starts okay the second time. Nah, I think we're okay. So we're going to leave that. Okie dokie. So I've been keeping an eye on that windsock, and it's now 90 degrees out from what it was before. It was a northerly, and now it's more like a southeasterly. So it just shows you, you know, it's important to get that windsock up and just keep an eye on it. Now at the moment, I don't know, it could be that this is just going to come through the southeast occasionally, and I'll mostly get the northerly. We'll need to keep an eye on it really and just see. But see how it's dulled down again? And you see that often with windsocks, if you're watching the wind, you know, if it's moving around, it might be like that. And it wouldn't just go from there to there. What it'll do is it'll go to there and then drop, and then when it comes back up it'll be somewhere else. So at the moment what I'm going to say is I'm going to leave the motor kind of here. In fact, I'm going to move it out a little bit to sort of here. I'm going to keep an eye on it. We'll just see what happens. So this is my dudek reaction. It's a wing I've had now for 10 years. And it's still good, you know. I got it serviced last month and it's still in good nick. Needed a few adjustments, a couple of new lines, but other than that, it was all in good nick. It's a 29, it's quite a big wing. Of course the dudeks, they tend to be on the big side anyway. But even then it is quite a big wing. And it's quite slow these days, you know, it's a reaction, it's a reflex wing, but most of the speeds in the speed bar rather than the trimmers, so if you're flying with a lot of other people it can be awkward because you're always on the speed bar to keep up with them, you know. But I don't fly with a lot of others, I tend to fly mostly myself, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference to me. Just hook in. I tend to pretty much always do forwards when I'm paramotoring. My theory there is twofold. One, I like to fly cross country, long distances. If it's too windy to do a forward, then it's too windy to go any distance cross country, at least if you're expecting to come back to the same place that you took off from. So, you know, I just don't fly when it's particularly windy. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I find them really quite awkward for paramotoring. I think you've got you know, you've got I see the wind's just moved again, so it's away down to the northeast again. So I'm not going to lay the, usually I would put the wing out in a nice horseshoe and walk back into it and get it all set up. At this point, there's no point in doing that because I need to make a decision about what way I'm taking off. And am I going to take off to the northeast? Am I going to take off to the east? Am I going to take off to the southeast? And, you know, and wait for the wind to be appropriate. What I'd like to do is see if I could see the prevailing wind that's coming through and see if that's the actual default position. But at the moment I'm not really seeing that. I'm seeing it as much northeast as I'm south, as much as I'm seeing southeast. So I'm going to just have to keep an eye on it and then set up at the last minute, really. So it's moved around to the southeast again, the wind. As I said to you, it's going to be a bit awkward, I think. It's just going to like be moving around. So I'm sort of keeping an eye on it, but it looks to me, I mean, that we might be alright to the southeast. So yeah, the wind's still moving about all over the place. I would say if it does seem to be slightly staying to the southeast though, or at least it keeps coming back to there, which is good because that's the natural selection, the natural direction of the wind. So I'm going to set up in that direction, and then hopefully it's still in that direction when I'm ready to fly. Really not a lot of wind though. Which means, run like a bastard. You can never run too quickly. You can never pull the wing up too much when it's like this. And keep going. Even with all the power in the world, you need to get that wing up. Oh, and there you go. So in the time it's taken me to just lay the wing out, the wing's moved a fully 90 degrees back to the northeast again. So, it can get frustrating this, you know, when it happens. The worst thing you can do is ignore the windsock and just go for it. Especially when it's really light wind, or maybe after you've had a couple of failed takeoffs, that can seem like a good idea. Because you think, well, there's hardly any wind anyway. I'll need to run a bit quicker, but it'll still be okay. But even 2 or 3 mile an hour wind is quite a lot of extra speed you need to run at. So it's just not a mover, it's not a goer really. You need to wait. So I'm sitting here and I'm watching it now. And I'm kind of feeling it. I'm feeling as it, because it actually feels stronger on me now when it's coming from that direction than it did when it was coming from the southeast. So is it going to come back to the southeast again? Is it going to stay? I'm just, you know, if you stress out and just immediately go to lay out your wing again, then you can find that, you know, the same thing happens. You've just laid it out and it's you know, the other way again. So it's worth just waiting and seeing. Again, I think it's settling and then it's going to come back up to the southeast again, I reckon, now. It's just coming up a little bit, it's like easterly. There we go, it's back up to the southeasterly. Okay, so I think we're going to go for it, but we are going to have to run like a bastard. So I'm watching it and it's really come through now, and it's come through to the east, not to the southeast, so it's still a little bit off from my direction. Not, you know, not masses. I'm not rushing at the same time. I'm trying not to faff about too much because we know that this wind can change direction. So, I can give it some power. Okay, it's pretty much still the direction that we want it to be in. We're going to pull comfort back and run like buggery. Here we go. And we're up. Lovely jobby. Right. Have to tighten my leg straps a little bit. They're getting a little bit loose. But there we go. Not so bad. All you have to do is, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of waiting, you know. If you get all set up and the wind's changed direction, switch the engine off, maybe sit down and just wait and just watch it. No, it's not going to be a problem, just watch it for 5 minutes. And chances are the wind will come round again and then you can take off. We're just going to pull this out here so that it's like that. Okay, so now I'm going to come down a bit because okay, so just going to get a bit low now. What we're going to do is we're just going to take the trims in and just go into the brakes again. And so this is what we call in the UK rape. Rape! Fields of rape. I don't know what you call it in the other countries, but we call it rape. Yeah, it's got quite a nice smell, and they grow quite a lot of it in Suffolk. So it's rapeseed oil, you know, you get you grow for the oil basically. I think you can even grow it for you know, fuel for cars. So we're at sort of revs now where we'd usually be to go, you know, straight, which is about 5,300 or so. So if it's taking the vibration out at this speed, then that's good. I'll do a kind of fly by the van and maybe get a good 360 shot of, you know, the paramotor and the van in it. Certainly didn't expect it to be as cold. I don't know if you can see, but I've just started my GPS application that I wrote for my Garmin. So just waiting for that to get a GPS lock. I should have done this with the ground, of course, but I forgot. Okay, so we've got a GPS lock now. I'm just going to start the trace. So we're at about 1,500 feet. Cloud base is probably about 3,000 by the looks of things. I like that actually. It might be a bit bloody cold, but I think I might just nip up to cloud base. It's problem is it's not too bad. I mean, I think I'll tell you what. Let's go and see how cold it gets when we go up. We'll start to go up. If it gets to about 3,000 and it's too cold, then we'll call it a day. Yeah, it's a bit higher than I thought, the cloud base. If we just throw a whip round and show you. Nearly above it. Nearly above it now.
4,400 feet. Oh, hey. You just have to watch here, obviously. I don't want to be getting losing sight of the ground. Well, that is rather beautiful. Wow. I think that's beautiful enough to take some pole shot of it, actually. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. We're at 4,700 feet. See, quite a cloudy day, but there's enough gaps in it that I can whip up here and still be legal. I do love it when it's like this. So, engine off, 4,000 feet, 4,000 feet and the engine off, and just gliding, you know, smoothly through the sky. You can't beat it. There's no other kind of transport that you can do this in. You just feel that you're just floating in the sky, you know. So I'm just going to turn round because I want to keep in this gap in the cloud until I get below it. If I'm still recording. So we're just drifting down now, that's 3,500 feet. Just keeping myself clear of cloud. Just dropping down, you know, through this hole. Put a little bit of revy wavies on. Yeah, alright, I think. Just about to turn into the landing leg. There we go. And bricks. And we're out. Hey! Lovely. That's alright.
I'll give you another tip, take it, leave it, which is that I just don't believe in ever packing wings, concertina packing and packing them all and folding them all up. It's just nonsense. This is 10 years old, this wing. I've done hundreds of hours on it, hundreds of hours. As I say, it's just serviced last week. It's perfectly fine, good condition. It needed to be trimmed, which was just because of the lines, you know, over the years they tighten a little bit. It's still in excellent flyable condition, and it's never packed like that unless I'm actually travelling somewhere abroad or something. I need to be with it. Otherwise, it's just stuff sack packed. Stuff sack packing is fine. It's nice and simple. It's quick, and you know, just works. All this nonsense about having to have all packed in the right way and all that, it's a load of bollocks. So horseshoe it all together, drop it in your stuff sack. Wrap the stuff sack around it a little, and then what I find to do is grab the end in your teeth, and then you can sort of pull it tight as you pull it up. Another quick tip on your windsock. Weirdly, if there has been times that I've come back and my windsock hasn't been there. And if you think it's just in the middle of nowhere, and you know, if somebody's out walking and they see a windsock, it's not something they're going to be familiar with. So the fact that they'll just pick it up and then take it to somewhere and say, you know, think it's like lost property or somebody's forgot and left something, not realising that you're depending on it, you know. So if you've got a windsock, get a bit of duct tape, white duct tape, and just write something on it. I've got this at the bottom of mine: aircraft using windsock flying, do not remove, right? And it's just a little indication to somebody that, you know, there's a point to it being there, and the 2 hours that you're not there to tell them. Here's another top tip. You're usually more relaxed when you land than you are when you take off. So try and get your paramotor ready for the next flight, rather than leave those things for things to do when you set up. So for example, I've only got 2 litres left here, so I'm not going to fly again with 2 litres. I usually fly with about 7 litres. So rather than put it away with 2 litres, fill it up just now. It's one less thing to do when you arrive at the field. So we're going to use one of these things. So it's just got a little bead in the end, a little glass bead, and they're great basically. Didn't discover these for the first 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years. I was using one of these pump things instead, which aren't really made for fuel and they're messy and they just don't really work. These are great, they just work. So you put this in that, this in here, get a bit of height, jiggle this to start it up, and then that's you. You want to hold this can as high as you can. The higher you put it, the more of a difference in pressure and the faster it will flow. So get into a routine of putting, always flying with a certain amount of fuel that you know is always more than your maximum flight time that you would ever want to do. So for me, the maximum I ever fly is 2 hours, right? In 12 years I've had maybe 2 or 3 flights that have been 2.5 hours, but just about all flights I've ever had have been under 2 hours, usually about 1.5 hours. And I know from the fuel consumption of this that if I put about 7-8 litres in there, that I've got enough for 2 hours at least, or more. You know, as I said, usually we'd use about 3 litres an hour, so that gives me enough for 2.5 hours really. But you know, if I'm really going up and down, basically it doesn't matter how I fly this thing, I know that if I put 7 or 8 litres in it, I am not going to run out of fuel in 2 hours, right? So it's just not something that I need to worry about. Obviously I've got a little mirror here, which I can use to check my fuel level, and I do that. But just something else you just don't need to worry about. If you just always get in the habit of just always keeping the fuel at a certain level, then you're not thinking, where am I going to go, how long am I going to fly? You just know that you start with this amount of fuel, and then you don't need to worry about it. So that's us. That was a bit of a long one, but hopefully it was useful to people, or at least they found it interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe. I'm nearing 1,000 subscribers, and it makes all the difference, the thumbs up and the subscription, for how YouTube silly algorithm works and actually recommends your videos to others so that they can actually find them in the first place. So, you know, please consider thumbs up or subscribing. If you like this kind of thing, post comments. It's good to know if people like it and I should do more of these, or whether you like shorter ones with the music on them. So anyway, there you are. There's quite a lot of videos we've had this year already. Hopefully it's going to be a good weather this year, and we'll get a fair number of more videos as the year goes on. Goodbye for now.